So the most dangerous bear is a grizzly mother with a cub nearby. So she definitely let me have it. Yeah, as soon as I saw the cub, that's when my day just got flipped right over. And
You knew that mom probably wasn't too far behind.
yeah, I knew it wasn't an if, it was just when and where is mom, and she just suddenly appeared really fast.
U.S. Army vet Shayne Burke and his new wife, Chloe, went on a honeymoon trip to Yosemite National Park and wanted to be prepared.
Prior to this whole trip, bears were a big concern of mine. So I was doing a lot of research on my own, and that's why we bought the bear spray for the trip. I practiced taking the safety off, putting it back on to make sure I knew how to do that. But I mean, like, a grizzly bear can run 35 miles per hour. So they can close 30 yards in 1.5 seconds at most. Like, it's fast.
During their trip, the two split up so that Shayne could try to get pictures of a rare owl. Chloe stayed near the car with their dog, Cadence. That's when the danger they prepared for became a terrifying reality.
And so as soon as I saw the cub, the first thing I did was take the spray out and start walking backwards. And all of this happened in what I would say microseconds. Like, I saw the cub, sprays out, taking the safety off. I look up and mom is just a few feet away at that point. Once I realized that pretty much that I wasn't gonna get the spray off, she was pretty much right on top of me at this point. She jumped up and I turned 180 and she bit me right on the shoulder and tackled me. At that point, I basically just locked my hands and arms behind my neck, and just tensed up my body as tight as I could. There's no way that, like, if that bear could have done anything it wanted to me. There's nothing I could have done at that point really to stop it. So when she bit my shoulder, I let out like a pretty, like, blood curdling scream. And then I just buried my face in the dirt, and she kind of stopped and walked around me and then came back on top of me, and then she bit a leg, and I locked my jaw really tight and just paused as much as I could. And, like, she bit my leg one more time, I think each leg 3 times. On the last one, I let out another scream because it was just so painful, and she got, like, really, really deep. And then that's when she started to pay attention to my head, and she went in for, I'm only speculating at this point. I'm not a expert on bear behavior, but to me, like, she was attacking me to kill me because I was perceived as a threat. So my thought process is she went in to bite my head, which would have killed me really fast. She got my wrist and my hand, and then a mouthful of bear spray because she happened to bite the canister. I probably wouldn't be alive right now if that didn't happen. Everything kind of went quiet, and it almost felt like there was just an overall pause of everything happening around me. I realized, like, it was just kind of a moment of, like, am I alive or dead? And when I heard that pop, I really thought she just cracked into my head, and I felt a warm sensation go down my back and coming down over my face, which turned out to be the bear spray. So simultaneously to all these sensations, she took off running, and I heard her, like, thump, 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 running away. So I got up and I looked, and I saw that she was running back towards the direction I was actually trying to go. So I just ran further into the woods.
Despite his injuries, Shayne was able to call Chloe.
It's definitely surreal. I think in this case, my past work as a first responder, as an EMT, definitely offered me some protection from the overwhelming panic that you get when you get a phone call from your husband saying that he's been attacked by a bear. My first question was, do you have a first aid kit? Again, this was just a short little venture from our car to stretch our legs on a road trip, so he didn't have a first aid kit with him. And so at that point, I was just reminding Shayne essentially that he's his own first responder until we can get to him, and to just use whatever he has on him, clothes, straps, anything that's a part of his the packs that he's wearing and all that. And it looks like he was able to execute it pretty well because he stopped the bleeding.
I've been in the Army Reserves for 17 years now, done about 5 or 6 what we call CLS courses, which is Combat Lifesaver. These courses always change, but the foundations stay the same. And so the most important thing about combat casualty care is stopping the bleed. That's usually how most of us perish when we're injured in combat. So just paying attention to that bleeding, identifying whether or not it was arterial or just regular, bleeding profusely. I was on the phone with 911 and I was just asking, like, please try to hurry up. Like, I knew that I wasn't bleeding from any arteries. I knew that I was pretty confident that nothing was fatal in the moment. However, I didn't know exactly how long I had. And I knew that they were having trouble finding me, not because of their issues. All the issues were kind of on my end. My phone didn't have really good service. So the GPS was really bad and it wasn't giving good coordinates for some reason. So it took a little while to figure it out. That was the rescuers were on point. They were absolute experts at what they do. So I didn't really express or really feel the pain until they kind of showed up. And then, they kept telling me I was doing a good job and like I wasn't, being a baby about it, but I did just get attacked by a grizzly bear. So once I saw the helicopter, they came over, they flew over me and I told them to stop, and they stopped about 150 yards behind me, came back, and then they just kind of floated to my 9 o'clock from the direction I was facing. And then that's when I started to crawl to them. And then the rangers on foot showed up almost simultaneously, and they started working on me instantly.
Shayne made a surprising request to his rescuers.
I humbly asked if they would spare the bear's life, and they said that they have to do an investigation, and thankfully they did come to the conclusion that neither me nor the bear were in the wrong. So that's a relief. That was a big concern of mine. I love animals, and I think all of us have a purpose on this planet and deserve to live in some capacity. And, she didn't do anything wrong, so.
Right or wrong, Shayne was still severely injured.
So he had 9 different surgical sites. When he got to the hospital, he spent about an hour in surgery, being sutured and stapled back together. We don't have an accurate count of the staples, but I tried to count them during his last dressing change, and we counted 58.
I think luck was probably the biggest part of my survival. This pure chance that bear can stayed in my finger, stayed wrapped around it, and I'm sure that's by design. It has the ring handle. That definitely worked out for me. I think if I dropped that canister and she bit me in the neck like that without it there, and she got another grip on it, I don't know. I don't think I'd be around any longer.